The EFF leader, Honorable Julius Malema, demanded answers from General Dumisani Khumalo, the head of crime intelligence, on Matlala, corrupt senior SAPS members, journalists that work with cartels, disbandment of PKTT, and the names of corrupt politicians. His answers will shock you.
The first thing I would like to raise with you, General, is that I appreciate the fact that you're saying you act in a professional manner. But you will know that sometimes police act out of what is expected of them. And that's why we've got institutions like IPIT to look at that kind of conduct. And in a situation of Matlala, where he says his children were put on the floor and pointed with a gun, and the wife was assaulted and all of that, you will agree with me that if that happened, that will be wrong. It's an unacceptable conduct that no African child should be subjected to. The fact that the case has not been opened doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I'm not saying it happened, but if it happened, it's something that you should be willing to condemn. And when it was uttered by Matlala, for sure, you would have developed some interest to verify the facts that it really happened in a manner in which Matlala is saying it. General.
Thank you. Good morning once again, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. Indeed, we try by all means to be as professional as possible because we are developing the culture of thorough investigation and developing a culture of engaging whoever the person of interest is. We after the evidence then by Mr. Matlala, indeed one did revisit the reports and then discussions with the operational commander to confirm. But as the honorable member is rightfully pointing out, if there are allegations maybe that are beyond our view from the reports that we receive from the team, Mr. Matlala then is allowed to come forward, not to us, but through the structures like IPIT to lay complaint.
Thanks, General. When you got arrested at the airport, how did you feel about it, that you get to be subjected to that kind of treatment as a senior police officer? Did you know about it before? And why do you think they treated you the way they did? Because ordinarily, when a person is senior like you, who is not necessarily a fugitive, who you can easily make an appointment with through the lawyer for him to appear, and so on and so forth. What really transpired there?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. It did not feel right. One had to look back at the investment that one has done in his own integrity for the past 34 years. But then one luckily had a clue, and then one had to understand it as a project targeting the reputation, because already the campaign was on targeting both PKTT as well as myself, because I'm in charge of both environments, the division as well as PKTT. It did not feel well, but then one had to accept it as it was clear that the objective is really to, because if we may compare, out of all the rest of the junior officers were called to come. I'm the only one who was not called, who was then arrested at the airport the way it happened.
And you'll agree with me that arrests like that are not conducted by senior police officers, like a general coming to arrest a general. Ordinarily, it will be a very junior member of the police, junior than you, who comes and effect the arrest.
Yes, I agree, Honorable, through you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. It was junior members, even the senior investigating officer was not present. So the whole SAPS that is working at the airport was activated. One could hear the discussion then from the arresting officers from IDEC as we are leaving, thanking the shift commanders and the station commander of the airport for well-executed operation. So it was something that was not supposed to be done like that, but it did happen as planned.
Do you know the junior who arrested you?
Yes, I know my arresting officer.
Is there a Sergeant Ndlovu in the PKTT?
A Sergeant Ndlovu in the PKTT, there might be one, I cannot but recall as of hand. The one that is coming on to my mind as I talk is the one who was previously with the team from the intelligence collection side.
Now that you know this junior arresting officer, did you send any of the PKTT members to the Eastern Cape to surveillance their arresting officer's residence?
No, I've never done that.
Was there ever such an allegation brought to attention that there is a PKTT member who's surveilling the house of the arresting officer?
No, I've never received such a complaint. I would have attended to it.
And you will agree that if such a thing happened, it will be somehow something that seeks to, in a way, intimidate the arresting officer or witness in your language.
That is correct, Honorable Chair, and we will have to discourage it if it indeed happened. But then one is not in control of, or one cannot say whichever environment is investigating whoever cannot do it then because of that. But if it's done for the purpose of intimidating the arresting officer, it needs to be condemned. It's not right.
General, are you aware of the Inspector General of Intelligence findings against you and members of the management of the crime intelligence? And this report has led to the suspension of the Inspector General of Intelligence, which makes certain findings about you.
Other than what one picked up on the media, there is no official report and it's not even supposed to be brought to our attention, but one has just read and picked up on the media.
Do you have a security clearance?
Yes, Honorable Chair, I have 2 of them.
And then that report suggests that one of those security clearance was fraudulent and thereby invalid.
It is not Through Honorable Chair and Honorable members, the first security clearance was issued to me, and after crime intelligence has conducted their vetting investigation since 2018 when I applied, and then the process continued up until then before my appointment, when then the National Commissioner inquired as to how far is the process, and then they finalized the process, and then I was issued then with the security clearance.
You spoke about some members of SAPS who are trying to destabilize the Swartz murder case, who got involved in a bad way in an attempt to destabilize this case and its investigations. Is there anyone who's arrested for that purpose?
The whole investigation around the allegations of obstructing the cause of justice is underway. It's a very wide investigation because it starts from the threats that were made against the members during the bail application stage, right throughout the operation of the 6th. So it is a very wide investigation, but the docket, some of the dockets are already with the NPA for decision.
Another allegation you make is that this there were senior members of SAPS who were mingling with the implicated parties or some members of the cartel. And what made many of us so interested in your appearance is that the National Commissioner, when he came here, and General Mkhwana's, when they came here, they said, you were going to give us more meat on many things that they've said, including giving us names of the people who might be implicated in some of these things. Who of the senior members of SAPS was mingling with the cartels? And in which events were they found mingling together?
The issue of mingling, let me first start, Honorable Chair, by maybe then reminding the House on what I said yesterday. There is a thin blue line between the members of the cartel or any syndicate, and then wanting to paint the picture that they are closer to the high-ranking officials or politicians, and also between them being working together. So, as I've indicated, that is still part of the investigation. The senior officers are identified, and then the investigation to determine how far the relationship is ongoing.
Yeah, but who are these senior officials who mingle with persons of interest? I mean, I remember one of the witnesses in Matlala said they got extremely scared when they were invited into a social gathering, and then they found some of these people in a party, even playing music from their phones as a way of demonstrating that actually they are very familiar with this environment they found themselves in. It shouldn't be a very difficult thing to share with the South Africans that this senior officer was found in a house or in a party of a person of interest. The person of interest who may not mention, but a senior official who's commanding these junior investigating officers, junior in terms of rank compared to them. Some even get instructions from them on how certain things need to be done. The next thing, they find these thugs sitting with senior police officials. We should be able to get names, because that is the whole idea why we are here. We are not here to just search in the air. We want something that is touchable, something tangible, so that when we leave here, we're able to make the necessary recommendations and say whatever needs to happen to whoever, if we find that indeed there is some involvement with wrong people who are involved in destroying the future of our children in this country.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members. Referring to the evidence under oath led by witnesses A, B, and C in Matlala Commission, they are referring to some events where then they will be called to attend some social gatherings, and then they will find then senior officers also being together with their persons of interest in the investigation. They mentioned the provincial commissioner of Gauteng, the Major General Shibiri that I referred on yesterday. I'm not sure, because I do not have that as part of my their statements as part of my bank.
When did the National Commissioner ask you to take over the investigation which brought Matlala to your side? When was that?
I might not have the exact date, but it is supposed to be around October, November, when then he invited me to a meeting where there was a complaint about that investigation, and then the complainant then was venting the frustrations and unhappiness about the fact that the docket was investigated by the team that was reporting to the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, of which the allegations during the meeting were he is very close to a person whom the complainant was suspecting to be involved in the kidnapping. It was during that meeting that then the National Commissioner directed that I took over that investigation.
So that will be October, November 2025?
October, November 2024.
2024.
We had our operation on the 6th of December.
When a National Commissioner was asked a question about whether he knows Matlala or not, early 2025, he said, no, I did not know who the owner of the company was. I also did not know who Vusimuzi Matlala is. But he referred Vusimuzi Matlala to you in October, November 2024. And when asked whether he knows Vusi Matlala, he says, no, I don't know the person. And that is in 2025.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Even myself, I did not know him. He was, I think on my affidavit, I introduced that subject in one of the paragraphs, that the name was introduced to us for the first time during that meeting, and then we had then to start our investigation by identifying the person. From the National Commissioner's point of view, the name was mentioned by the complainant in our presence, both of us. So I won't be in a position to indicate if he knew him before that meeting.
No, but he referred him to you in October 2024. When he's asked early 2025, he says, I don't know such a person.
Yes, Honorable Chair, as I'm indicating, one cannot be sure whether knowing was in reference to knowing a person physically, so, or knowing that there is a Matlala. The name, as I've mentioned, was mentioned to both of us by the complainant during that meeting. From my side, I can confirm that it was for the first time hearing about the name Matlala.
So they referred the matter in relation to the case of Mr. Jerry Bogasho.
That is correct, Chair.
Yesterday, you spoke about coincidences. You are a head of crime intelligence. You can't speak about coincidences to us, because if you have observed such pattern and you are suspicious that there is something that is fishy here, because this cannot just be coincidences. That's why we are bringing them to our attention. You run an operation on the 6th of December, and then at the same time, a person, Advocate Johnson, writes a letter demanding the dockets. And then you say it's a coincidence. A head of intelligence can't speak like that. You ought to tell us if there was connection between this demanding of the dockets in relation to the cases that were opened by Honorable Adams and the operations of the 6th of December, because the whole intention is to find out if there are senior people in the police, in the NPA, in the judiciary, who are trying by all means to protect these criminals. So when dockets are being demanded, on the same day you're running an operation, and then you are suspicious that this might be used to destabilize this investigation we're busy with. Have you conducted any investigation about that to ascertain yourself that there is criminal activity that is happening here, which seeks to protect criminals, both by Advocate Johnson and Honorable Member Adams?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. At the present moment, I am referring to those as coincidents, which are raising suspicions, but one being involved in the case that is at court, one is not in a position to institute the counter investigation to confirm that that investigation will take place when the time is right. Hence, now we are referring to those coincidents as suspicions.
So the story that you tampered with, not necessarily you, but that Matlala's phones were tampered with, an allegation made by Advocate Johnson and Matlala himself, that story is not correct.
According to us, that story is not correct. We have the proof and the statement from our digital forensic as to activities that we conducted on those phones. Whoever is alleging the deleting and then has to also come with a proof from their independent DFI.
So you will suggest that Advocate Johnson and Matlala lied under oath?
From our point of view, we can confirm that because we have the 212 statement as well as chain statements from whoever handled and dealt with the cell phones. And also the common sense has to maybe tell us that we were the ones that were interested in every bit and a piece of information that we might find in those phones, and then it will be defeating our own purpose if then we will we conducted the operation. We were not aware that the subject of investigation might be a person of interest to so many people and institutions that might at the later stage be interested in the cell phones. But for our investigation, it will be defeating our own investigation if we can delete even a full stop in one of those gadgets.
That phone of Matlala, which was found in the cell, did you also do some forensic on it?
That is correct, Honorable Chair.
Do you confirm that Mr. Brown Mokhodzi and the minister's conversation of any arrest affected? You speak about it in 155. That was not about Stelfontein.
According to, thank you, Honorable Chair, according to our analysis of the communication, we confirm that it flows from the discussion of IPID expected to effect some arrests. And then as then it comes towards the end as a response to the discussion that is starting earlier on as I presented on my statement. Hence then I concluded in my statement that it cannot be possible that that arrest was related to the Stilfontein issues.
So Minister lied under oath that he was talking about Stilfontein.
Unless then they can be a proof like we are producing in the form of that communication and interaction and responses.
So do you confirm that there are journalists who are also involved in this kind of activities to protect these cartels?
We have identified some that we believe that they might be part of the communication department of the cartel, and then the investigation is still ongoing on that part.
In your own opinion, the disbandment of PKTT was to protect the cartels?
Up to so far, we are convinced, based on the reasons that are contained in my statement, that before the first takedown on the 6th of December, one had never received any complaint or any issue, negative issue around the PKTT. So it came as a surprise, but then with the understanding that the only reason might be that the PKTT assisted the GCI ops in Gauteng.
The National Commissioner, when he came, he said, you are going to give us names of the politicians you are investigating. Are you able to share those names of politicians who might be involved in corruption that you are investigating?
As I've indicated during my testimony, Honorable Chair, that as per the legal framework, we are not allowed to identify a subject of investigation until the investigation is finalized.